We are fortunate this morning, and this is a young man that Wade contacted with and has been working with. We have a young man by the name of Shane Ratliff. Shane is out in Morristown. He is an agent with the Department of Homeland Security and the Bureau of Preparedness. And I like that word, that it goes more than just security, but preparedness means that we get ahead of it, we're proactive, and we try to make sure that things don't happen. He began his public safety career as a volunteer firefighter in 1998 with the Carters Valley Fire Department in Churchill. Now, few of you know that I am from Hawkins County, where he is from, and Churchill is just right up the road. My sister lives there, so this is homeboy here. And of course, I've only been gone 40 years, but anyway, probably before you were born. But anyway, I'm not going to read the whole bio. He handed it to me, and we talked about this. And but I'm excited to hear what Shane has to say. Understand, this is preparedness. Do we expect this to happen this year? No. Do we expect any of these things that he's going to talk to you to happen this year? No. But we do want to be prepared. We want to make sure. Now, has it ever happened in Anderson County? No. Might it happen? Yes. So that's the thing. Be prepared. Pray that it doesn't, but be prepared if it does. So, welcome Shane Ratliff from Homeland Security. He's going to be coming in. Good morning. Again, my name's Shane Ratliff, agent with Homeland Security. The majority of my career has been in law enforcement. Been very blessed. Worked Force Patrol, been assigned to a lot of specialized units from SWAT team to criminal apprehensions to a lot of different types of investigations. Did a lot of child sexual and physical abuse to fire investigations, drug and narcotics investigations. But also I was a school resource officer and a DARE officer as well, okay? So this is very important to me. Of course, I have two young, small boys that are in elementary school in Hamilton County. I have a sister that's an elementary school teacher and a brother-in-law that's a high school teacher and coach. So thank you all for inviting me here. Very important topic. If you have questions, ask. I know there's a lot of you. Now, if you do go to sleep, I do have a squirt gun in my backpack, and I'm not afraid to use it. Okay? So, but I'm going to ask you a couple questions, kind of get your mind going a little bit, get you prepared for school, and you asking your students questions. Think back to August 1st, 1966. What big active shooter event occurred? That was really, it wasn't the first active shooter event here in the United States, but it was the one that was kind of the first publicized. All right. Out in Texas, okay, Texas Tower shooting. Us law enforcement, we learned a lot from that. At the time, we didn't have any type of specialized units, no SWAT teams. And after that, throughout the country, departments started developing specialized units in case something like that were to ever happen again. Now, what about 1999? Columbine. Right. Okay. Very tragic situation. Before Columbine, and actually during Columbine, the way that we responded in law enforcement was when you got there to the scene, you would set up a perimeter. You wouldn't go in. You would wait for the SWAT team to get there. Well, the problem with that is that it could take 30 minutes plus, depending on if your area had even a SWAT team. And so, while we were out forming a perimeter, killing, people getting hurt was happening inside. And so, after Columbine, it changed. Depending on the department's policies and procedures, if you're the first officer there, you may be going in. Or you may wait for another additional officer, but you're going in. There's no more waiting around, okay? What about April 16th, 2007? Virginia Tech, good. Virginia Tech was unique in that the killer learned from other shootings, okay? He learned from law enforcement, how we responded. And he did something very unique. Anybody know? Chained the doors, right? To make it hard for us in law enforcement to get in. Okay? Now, I'll give you one more. December 14th, 2012. Sandy Hook, right? And we'll talk about that particular incident here in just a little bit. Just a little bit about Tennessee Office of Homeland Security. We're divided up into 11 districts. I'm assigned to District 2 right here. We have 11 agents that cover the whole state. So we stay pretty busy. That's the way I like it. Now, what's your definition of an active shooter? Anybody? Somebody's actively shooting, very good definition. Okay? Let me ask you this, do you have to be inside of a building? No. Okay? And, we remember, the Las Vegas concert, massacre shooting out there. Okay? Well, this is the federal definition of an active shooter. Okay? An individual actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill people in a confined or populated area. So that populated area would be out in the open. Okay? Now, what are all these things up here? Good. Weapons. Okay? As we go through this, you'll hear me say active killer also. Really, the term active shooter is kind of getting phased out because of all these other items up here that have been used to kill. Okay? You can kill multiple people. If you remember vehicles, year and a half ago, 2 years, you heard about them a lot. Running over people, plowing through different events and stuff. Okay? But all these have been used, and there's plenty more than these that have been used to kill and injure many people. So when you hear me say active killer, okay, this is what I'm talking about. I'll use those interchangeably. And so it's important even in the planning process that we just don't plan for somebody pulling out a gun, but also some of these items up here, okay? Now, like with any statistics from the federal government, always a couple years behind, but these are stats from 2016, 2017. There were 50 active shooter events in 21 states. If you notice, Tennessee's covered there. We had 2 during that year, okay? And during this particular 2016, 2017, I'll just go ahead and say most people don't remember the one, but the one happened up in the Tri-Cities area, up in Bristol. An individual was just walking down their main drag there, and shooting at vehicles passing by, any pedestrians walking by. I see some head shaking, some people might remember that. The other one was the church there in Antioch, Tennessee. Okay? Remember that. But there's been a whole lot more, especially recently. In Colonial Heights, at a dentist office, there was an active shooting. And we remember Chattanooga killings. So, does active shooter events occur here in Tennessee? Yes. They occur from Memphis all the way up to Johnson County. Okay. Now, the thing about an active shooter or active killer that makes it so hard to kind of stop or prevent is that there's no profile. Okay? You just can't look at somebody and say, oh, he's going to be an active shooter. She's going to be one. But there are some things that we can look at, some red flags that if we're paying attention and get them the help that they need, can prevent an attack from occurring. Usually, these individuals are going to have multiple stressors in their life, such as losing a job, okay, losing a loved one, having a bad breakup, getting into drugs and alcohol. Uh-oh. Go to the principal's office. You know, for us adults, financial troubles, okay? But any of these life stressors can definitely it should be a red flag. There is no race, age, or social economic status for an active shooter. Yes, the majority are male. Guys, why do you think that is? Because women drive us crazy. I thought I heard somebody here just on the website. No. We'll talk about some reasons why. But there have been some females, okay? Most attacks are committed by a single attacker. Again, another reason why it's hard to prevent one. You all know how it is. Y'all are middle school and high school teachers. You know how it is if you have two or more, even with adults, it's kind of like back in high school. Don't tell nobody. I won't say nothing. There's always somebody that tells, right? That leaks something out. So having that single attacker makes it even harder. But here's a big one, folks. This is where we can stop an attack if we're paying attention. Most attacks are planned in great detail. 77% spent a week or longer. Okay? So, do you think that there would be some red flags and things that would show that, you know, hey, your behavior's changed in that week? Sure. I don't know if y'all remember back in 2011, over in Norway, the greatest single loss of life by an active shooter was committed. Y'all remember that? The individual, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that guy's name, went over to the island and started shooting all those teenagers. There were 77 killed, 319 injured. But here's the thing about it. He planned that event that we know of for at least 9 years. 9 years that we know of. You think he was throwing out any red flags in those 9 years? You better believe it. Okay? Up here, it might be a little hard for y'all, but this kind of just breaks it down as far as location of where attacks occur in a community. You can see education is number 2, okay? About 25%. This right here shows the relationship. Most of your attackers have some type of relationship with them, but again, you can see that academics, 22%. And also, even with the school system, you also have to factor in the professional, because you all have coworkers, right? Okay. So, how is an attack going to end? If I'm the attacker, how is it going to end for me? Dead, right? Okay. It's a different mindset than going in and taking somebody hostage. Okay? My mindset is I want to go in, kill, and injure as many people as possible, especially if I have a specific target, or a specific person or group of people that I want to kill. But here's the thing about it. I know that I'm not going to make it out alive. I know that either law enforcement's going to kill me, a citizen's going to kill me, or I'm going to commit suicide. Plain and simple. So it's important that we understand this mindset. Here you can see some statistics. Very rarely, if ever, do they actually just flee. Oh, got to see that. How long do you think an attack's going to take? Did you see that? Okay. Huh? Time-wise, what's the average? They got 5, got 10, I think you saw. About 5 to 10 minutes. Okay? Now, we talked about the Sandy Hook shooting. Okay? 20 kids, children killed, 6 adults. How long did that attack last or take? 5 minutes. Okay? 5 minutes. How long do you think it's going to take for law enforcement to get there? About that same time, that 5 to 10 minutes, but it's going to depend upon where you're at, okay? You're out in a rural place, it's going to take longer. And how many of y'all have heard of Murphy? Old Murphy's Law? Yeah. Okay? More than likely, old Murphy's going to be involved that day. Okay? So it's important that we have a plan. Sounds like, in listening, that the school system has a good plan in place, and they're continuously evolving and trying to get that plan better, which is a great thing. We looked at all the safety plans in the host state, and I can tell you some of them are very scary, especially when you notice that they just kind of actually physically get the copy and cut out the one school's name and paste the other one on top of it. You know that because you can see, because it's uneven, and they forgot to take out that other school's name throughout it. So that's sad and it's scary at the same time. But have a plan, and like what was mentioned earlier, yes, it gets on our nerves when we're right in the middle of something, and we got to drop it to go run a fire drill, or an active shooter drill, or a tornado drill. But if you don't practice, if and when the real thing happens, what are you going to do? Most people are going to freeze up. Okay? Even though you might have been in your school for a while now teaching, make sure you know all the ins and outs, all the exits. Because I would probably say that you all just don't stay in your classroom, right? You go walking down the halls, you go to the gym, cafeteria, teacher's lounge, restrooms, a lot of different places, right? So familiarize yourself with exits. What rooms can you get in? If you are going down the hallway, make sure you know where you can get to for safety, areas of protection. Have a way to let somebody know what's happening. I know in a lot of school systems, teachers will have little radios that they carry. I'm not sure if you all do or not. But this right here, cell phone, right? Does it do me any good though if I have it laying here on my desk and I'm going down to the lunchroom? No, it doesn't. It's important to have it on you, of course, in the silent mode, right? No texting, looking at Facebook, anything like that. But have it on you. And again, we talked about this, practice your plan, practice. I played sports just like a lot of you all did. Okay? If you don't practice, you going to be any good? No. Think about back to 9/11, Twin Towers. One of the heroes of 9/11 was Pete. He worked for Morgan Stanley. Okay? He was their head of security, safety. He saved countless lives, not only for that company, but for additional companies, because he ran evacuation drills constantly. People got mad at him. People said, stop it. They could run an evacuation drill out of the Twin Towers blindfolded. And guess what? When 9/11 happened, it saved their lives and many others. Unfortunately, he didn't make it out because he went in to help others from other companies. But if you don't practice it, guys, when something happens, more than likely you'll freeze up. So practice it. Of course, with anything, share your plans. It's good to know that y'all are working on like a little flip chart. It's going to be in your classroom. But right here's a big thing, not only for us as co-workers, but seeing it student to student interaction is foster respectful personal interaction. Okay, if you look at a lot of the active killers, active shooters, they were people that were bullied. Okay, kind of the social misfits. So that's a very, very important thing. Of course, I know the bullying policy is very big in schools, but that right there can also be another big red flag. Again, kind of goes back to that planning thing, some myths. Attackers just don't snap. It's a build-up. It's just not one thing. Okay? They're going to have planning. Now here's a list of some red flags and things to be aware of. I'm not going to read them all. You are educated, you can read for yourselves. But that increased severe mood swings. Oh my gosh, y'all are middle school, high school, right? See that thing in the day out, right? The things that just aren't normal, right? Explosive outbursts. For a co-worker, if I'm a principal or administrator, I have this teacher, this principal, hey, they were top notch. And all of a sudden, guess what? Their work performance starts going down. Okay? Hey, I know Jimmy or Sally, they're going through a bad divorce. Okay? And you go talk to them. Here's some other red flags. Suicidal comments. Social media displays are a biggie, especially with the high school, middle school age range. It's important that we just don't brush these red flags away. And it's easy to do here in East Tennessee. You know, I don't want to get involved in it. They're all right. Are they? It's better to intervene, talk to them, make sure that they're doing all right. This right here, these are some red flags as far as something's getting ready to happen. Okay? And as you read some of these are very familiar with you. You know, especially the clenched jaws, making the fist. You know, usually what's that a sign of? Fight, right? Mad or angry, right? Somebody avoiding eye contact with you. Especially somebody that usually, they'll look you in the eye. Okay? But all these are some signs, some red flags. Something's getting ready to happen. Here's our first video, and as this video goes through, watch for some of the indicators or red flags that we talked about.
Straight to the path of my money. I'm the one who works for it. Lawyer, it's something about it. She's in the house too? Were you blind? This is my parking space.
Come on, Mark, I got you explained it.
Mark, there are plenty of other parking spaces back there. Mind your own business. This is between me and Purple.
Look, you saw me use a turn signal.
It's ridiculous to get upset over a parking space.
What is eating Mark? He's one of the nicer guys around here.
I don't know. He's been really difficult to work with lately. The other day in a meeting, I heard he left in a huff, and last week at lunch, okay, I saw it. He totally flipped out because the waitress got his order wrong.
Well, I heard he was going for a really messy divorce.
Well, it's no reason to threaten your COVID, you know? We should go to HR.
I don't know what's gonna call my agent. Hi.
Hey.
I heard about what happened in the parking garage. Are you okay? Yeah, it's just not a great way to start your morning. Okay. How did you hear?
Honest gossip, but don't worry, I will take care of it. Okay?
Thank you.
Gotcha.
All right, see you.
See you.
Bye.
Have a good day.
You too.
Thanks.
You wanted to see me?
Yeah, please have a seat.
I'll see you.
Would you mind closing the door, please? Mark, I heard about the incident today in the parking garage. I have to tell you, there have been some consistent complaints about your aggressive behavior, and that type of behavior is not acceptable here. Do you understand? I also need to speak with you about your performance lately. Your work quality's been very poor, and we've decided that we need to place you on a probationary period of 1 month. We'll be evaluating you weekly, and at the end of that period, if we don't see some significant improvement, then there will be some serious consequences. Mark, you could lose your job over this.
Fine.
Do Do you want to discuss this further? I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
No. Are we done here?
Yes, we're done.
This is it. I can't take this anymore.
Aggressive behavior. Okay, parking lot. What else? This side of the room's not quiet. Huh? Good. Yeah, didn't want to sit down. Right, like what, the week before that at the restaurant? Yes, ma'am. Good. I like it. It's back there recently.
The message of order.
What was going on in his personal life?
The message of order.
Bad divorce, right? It seemed like anybody was, talking to him, making, saying everything was all right. With that bad divorce, what happened to his work performance? Going down, right? Okay. All our way. Right. Now, signs of the concealed weapon. Of course, somebody has one out wearing it like I am. There's your sign, right? Okay. But most of the time, the attacker is not going to just have it out to display. They're going to want to get to that place that they want to get to because that person or individuals or that group is there that they want to kill and attack. Okay? So, more times than not, it is going to be concealed. So, security check is something to look for. And if you saw me getting out of my vehicle this morning, even a couple times getting up out of my chair, you'll notice other officers doing it. All it is just, adjusting that weapon to where, it's comfortable. Okay, especially if you've been sitting down and you get up, it moves a little bit. Or if they're wearing an ankle holster, making sure my pant leg's over. Okay? Inappropriate clothing. It's 100 degrees outside, wearing big old baggy clothes. Okay? Clothes that just doesn't make sense. It's very easy for somebody to have a shotgun down their pant leg. Okay? Jacket sag. And not only a jacket sag, but even I know, of course, a lot of kids, do the pant sag, but look for, big bulges where the pocket areas are. They have those cargo pants. Look for that. Why would they have a big bulge in the pocket for? But with the jacket sag, if I have a jacket on and one side's kind of leaning more than the other, obviously I got something heavy in it, right? If I'm outside and the wind's blowing a little bit and the side is kind of sagging, ain't moving, but the other side is, there's something heavy in there, right? Of course, kind of talked about this a little bit, but bulges, especially in the waistline, even around the ankles. Everybody wears an ankle holster different. Some Some wear them on the outside of the ankles, some wear them on the inside. But if you pay attention, you can spot them pretty easily. I talked about that visible weapon. Palming. Now if you notice that palming, it's in a different color. Okay, it's red. Palming that attack is getting ready to go down. Okay, that's when that individual is actually grabbing their weapon. Okay, whether it's in the small of the back, wherever it is, they're actually grabbing it. So it's not like a security check. Security check, just adjusting it, making sure, it's in the holster. Okay, palming it is actually, they're getting that grip on it. Okay, they are seconds away from pulling that weapon out. So, what's your response? What's your role? Are you a principal, administrator? I know some school systems have like team leaders and stuff like that. What's your role during an emergency situation? And if you are one of these leaders, do you have any question about what you're supposed to do? Because if you do, you need to find out what the answer is. Right? Another myth, we had a SWAT team of metal detectors. And you can even add in cameras. Okay? We talked about the SWAT teams. It takes a while for them to get mobilized. There's somebody else. But there's very rarely a full-time SWAT team, especially in this area. With metal detectors, they're good. They're a good tool, but who's working with metal detectors? People, right? How many of y'all heard in the news anytime that somebody gets a weapon through TSA? Okay, they're supposed to be like the best humans, right? Cameras are a good tool, but how good are your cameras? I've done thousands of different types of investigations, hundreds where there's a video camera. The majority don't work, or the quality is so poor. It's like, is that Bigfoot going to do that? You can't tell. So, how good is the video system, camera? When it does go out, is it immediately fixed? Or is it a week out, 2 weeks out, 3 weeks, a month out, maybe next year? Okay? And who is monitoring it? It's not good for the same person just to sit there and monitor it. Okay? Get warned, right? It's good to change out the people. They're good to have, metal detectors are good to have, but it's not the cure-all. So what are your options? Obviously you all have a school plan in place, but what are some options that you got? And this is this is for anywhere. At church, at Walmart, mom. You, as an individual, better have a plan in place. What you are going to do. What's Shane going to do? Okay? First option is run, escape, get out of there. Okay? Try to get out of, if at all possible, get to a safe location, depending on where you're at. Call 911 when it's safe to do so. Now, option 2, which being in the schools, more than likely, would be your better option, which is hide, barricade, locking the doors, right? Finding that safe place. But again, just don't think about your classroom, because you may be walking your class down that hallway. You may be in the cafeteria. restrooms. You may be outside with it. What are you gonna do? But know how the door's locked. Make sure that the doors actually do lock. I've been to some school systems where, yeah, the door will lock, but guess what? Over the years, it's not lined up with the door frame. So all you gotta do is one finger and you can open it. Not too secure. Okay? But make sure they work properly. Get anything that you can think of, any books, computers, and you can put it up against that doorway. Okay? Up against the door. Hey, all this equipment will be right up against the door. I don't care how expensive it is. Okay? Because it's my life and my students' life that I'm trying to protect. Don't stand right there in front of the doorway. Okay? Turn off the lights. Make sure your phone's on silent. Yes, you want to call 911. But turn off the lights. Try to get to a corner of your room, okay? And get low. Get down. Okay? The reason for that is, where do most people shoot or aim at? Kind of chest level, right? Okay. Again, call 911 when it's safe to do so. But make sure you put your phone on silent, okay? Because I guarantee you, old Murphy's going to come along and everybody in the world's going to be calling you to see if you're okay. Hey, is this real? Is this really happening? And you don't want some ringtone going off. Try to remain calm. This is where that practice comes in, okay? Because I guarantee you there's going to be some to freak out. It's natural. Then you better be formulating a plan what you might have to do next. Okay? Which is option 3. Which is fight to take action. Okay? This is and should be your last option, your last resort. But the reality of it is it might be your option number 1 because you're walking down the hallway and something bam happens right in front of you. Okay? And there's no time to run and escape or dart into a room. Now again, this should be your last resort. But if this is your option that you have to take, you want to be as aggressively as you possibly can. How many moms or grandmothers we have here? Crazy. That mama bear better come out. You know what I'm saying? Because again, how do most attacks end? With the attack or dying, right? But not before they've taken life and caused injuries. Commit to your actions. I'm sure y'all gun-free zone, okay, they're at school. I guarantee you there's some teachers that carry. Okay? I live in the real world. It's kind of like a church. I do this in a lot of churches. And they say, well, nobody carries a gun here. And I said, yeah. But here's the thing about it. There's a lot of things that you can use as a weapon. As you see up there, a chair. Think about other items you got in your room. But here's the thing about it. Don't think about it when something's happening. Go ahead and have a plan. Think about what you could use as a weapon if need be. There's a lot of things. Try to work as a team. Does that remind you of anybody? One thing about, that I forgot to mention about the barricading the doors. Besides just putting stuff up against the door, what else can we use? That I would probably guarantee every classroom is full of it. Oh, y'all probably can't see over there. All these computer wires and stuff wrapping around the door and holding it, holding it closed. If you got something heavy in there that you can tie off to, they're pretty strong. Okay? Of course, you want to dial 911 when it's safe to do so. You know, try to give a location of the attack or attackers. And that's something, too, to always remember. Even though most active shooters, active killers, is one attacker, I always think there's another. Okay? Play it safe. If you know the number of attackers, if you know who it is, physical description, any type of weapons. You know, you might hear an explosion. Okay, think about Columbine. They have some bombs that they used? Yes. You know, if you hear something that sounds like automatic gunfire, okay, that'd be good information to know. You know, any type of potential victims, their location would be great. More than likely, are you going to know and remember this stuff if it's going down? More than likely, no. But just try to give them as much information as possible. Now, when the police arrive, okay, our main focus is to stop the attacker. Okay? So that means if you're lying here, shot, and you're bleeding, we're going to have to step over you and go and stop the attacker. Okay? Now you may say, oh my gosh, but I'm shot. I'm bleeding. That's kind of cold-hearted. But here's the thing. If we don't stop the threat, more people are getting killed, more people are getting injured, and also EMS and fire, they're not going to be coming into what we call a hot zone. So the longer it takes us to stop that attacker, the longer that it will take for EMS and fire to get you out, to get you proper medical attention. So, yes, once that attacker's been neutralized, been stopped, yes, we're coming back for you. But just know, our first priority is to stop the attacker. Okay? You're going to be hearing commands shouted at you. Just do what's asked of you. Okay? Which, you know, if you hear police coming, I'll be on the ground, have my hands up, and fingers spread. Okay? If you do have a gun, please don't have it out. Okay? There have been times where friendlies have gotten shot. Down in Memphis, at a church, they had an active shooter. One of the security team carried a gun and got him down at gunpoint. Okay, had him brought out on the ground. Of course, law enforcement was called, and all law enforcement knew was active shooter. So the police come in, and what do they see? They see the good guy. Looks like he's getting ready to assassinate the bad guy. They didn't know on the floor. So the good guy got shot. Luckily, he didn't die. But make sure you put your weapon, okay? Hands. Do what is asked of you, okay? A very good course. I don't know if y'all have been through it or not. I know a lot of school districts have to stop the bleed. Good, great. One thing that I'll say though, and I always like to mention this, you know, with the tourniquets and being able to stop the bleeding, just don't think about a gunshot or a knife attack. But what happens if somebody, they're outside running and they fall on something, okay, hit an artery, tourniquet, right? Depending on where it's at. There's a lot of times we limit our thinking to just gunshots or a knife attack, but it can be, think about just a simple harmless accident. Okay? Now, if you do have an incident, what are you going to do after it's over? Okay? Once the law enforcement's been there, they've got all their evidence, then what? Well, you definitely need to have not only your students, but teachers and faculty to get counseling, talk to an expert that is trained in traumatic incidences like shooting events. It should not be an option, it should be mandatory. Okay? And here's the thing about it. You may have it a week out or a couple days out when everybody comes back. But we need to make it long term as far as a month down the road, 6 months down the road, a year down the road, because here's the thing about it. It may not affect me right now, but 6 months down the road, guess what? It's affecting me now. We are all different. It affects us differently. So that's something to keep in mind. Try to return to normalcy as soon as possible. Again, wait till law enforcement gets done with their investigation, but the bullet holes, you want them patched up, covered up, painted over, okay? Try to get back to that normalcy as soon as possible. Here's another little video that bring it all together.
It may feel like just another day at the office, but occasionally, life feels more like an action movie than reality. The authorities are working hard to protect you and to protect our public spaces. But sometimes, bad people do bad things. Their motivations are different. The warning signs may vary, but the devastating effects are the same. And unfortunately, you need to be prepared for the worst. If you ever find yourself in the middle of an active shooter event, your survival may depend on whether or not you have a plan. The plan doesn't have to be complicated. There are 3 things you could do that make a difference. Run, hide, fight. First and foremost, if you can get out, do. Always try and escape or evacuate, even when others insist on staying. Encourage others to leave with you, but don't let them slow you down with indecision. Remember what's important, you, not your stuff. Leave your belongings behind and try to find a way to get out safely. Trying to get yourself out of harm's way needs to be your #1 priority. Once you are out of the line of fire, try to prevent others from walking into the danger zone and call 911. can't get out safely, you need to find a place to hide. Act quickly and quietly. Try to secure your hiding place the best you can. Turn out lights, and if possible, remember to lock doors. Silence your ringer and vibration mode on your cell phone. And if you can't find a safe room or closet, try to conceal yourself behind large objects that may protect you. Do your best to remain quiet and calm. As a last resort, if your life is at risk, whether you are alone or working together as a group, fight. Act with aggression. Improvise weapons. Disarm. And commit to taking the shooter down, no matter what. Try to be aware of your environment. Always have an exit plan. Know that in an incident like this, victims are generally chosen randomly. The event is unpredictable and may evolve quickly. The first responders on the scene are not there to evacuate or tend to the injured. They are well trained and are there to stop the shooter. Your actions can make a difference for your safety and survival. Be aware and be prepared. And if you find yourself facing an active shooter, there are 3 key things you need to remember to survive. Run, hide, fight.
Things will be real loud. I read, or you may just hear some little, okay? Depending on what the walls are made out of. You might be the next classroom over, and it's not loud. It's not like it is in the movies. So if you do hear things that sound like fireworks, and it's not near the 4th of July, or no other special events going on, play it safe, okay? Play it safe. Think active shooter, okay? Don't go out exploring, okay? Remember, you're not only taking care of yourself, but your students as well. God has a very big responsibility. Another thing, I mentioned weapons, and it's just not with school, but, your place of worship or just out and about. Number 1, be legal in carrying that weapon, okay? Secondly, have actually shot the gun that you carry. and I always get some laughs, but you will be surprised the number of people that they've never shot the gun that they carry, okay? Or it's been like 5 years ago, okay? That's not good. Also, have trained with where you carry that weapon at. I guarantee you, you're not just carrying it there on your side out the open like I do, okay? It's an equal holster, or it's inside the waist or something like that. Or sometimes for you ladies, there's a lot of purses out there that are made for concealed carry. Have it actually trained with where you carry it at, okay? And also, know your level, okay? Don't think you're a SEAL Team 6 sniper. You have to go outside of the barn. I mean, seriously, okay? So, remember this, that once that bullet leaves that barrel, it has your name on it, if you're the one firing, okay? Now, legally here in the state of Tennessee, if I'm protecting my life or someone else from a life-threatening situation, legally I'm covered, okay? But now, can I get sued? Well, yeah, you look at somebody wrong these days and get sued. But, Tennessee does have laws in place to help protect good Samaritans, okay? Those trying to help. Are there any questions that you all might have? The main thing, guys, is this. Yes, it's good that you all are, have a plan as far as school system in your particular individual school. That's great. You need that. And I'm glad that you all practice it. A lot of companies and stuff like that I go to, there's a couple inches of dust on it. Okay, nobody knows anything about it. Practice that plan. Don't get complacent with it. Remember, these drills are there not only for your students to save their life, but to save your life as well. Okay? Now, one thing that you can do to help you in kind of your own planning process is what we call in law enforcement is tactical thinking. Sports, athletes, special professional athletes use this technique. Of course, they call it something else. But it's a proven technique that works. For an athlete, it's them imagining themselves, scoring that winning goal. Okay? For us, law enforcement, it's seeing ourselves in maybe an active shooter situation. Okay? Yes, seeing that co-worker shot laying there. Seeing those students, but you acting and doing something, okay? As far as, either going and barricading yourself and your students. Seeing that attacker come in and seeing yourself, fighting for your life. Now, the thing about it is you got to kind of be realistic with it. You can't have that big S on your chest, where bullets are bouncing off of it and stuff like that. See yourself getting cut. Okay? But always see yourself coming out victorious. Okay? And the more and more you do it, the more and more that it will get more realistic. But what it does is it kind of tricks our brains into believing that we've been in that situation before. And it's like anything. If you haven't picked up the book in a while, like most of y'all students probably during the summer and stuff happen, it's going to be a little hard at first, right? If you haven't ran and worked out a while, it's kind of hard at first, but the more and more you do it, the easier it becomes. And again, it's a proven technique that works. Okay? Now, are there any questions? Thank you all for inviting me, and hopefully you got something out of this.
Okay, we're not finished yet. Let's do two or three things. Let me follow up on just two or three things real quickly that Shane talked about. First of all, you know that we're not advocates of teachers carrying weapons in schools. In doing that, there are several things that we think about, and I'm not foolish enough to think that it probably doesn't happen. But understand that if you do that, you've got to be willing to use it. The worst thing in the world to do is to have something that you're not willing to use. And if you think that it's easy to be able to point a weapon at a student that you may have had in class and pull the trigger without thought, it's not easy. These folks practice and practice and practice. We will never have an active shooter drill that's not well publicized. So if something happens in your school, you will know weeks in advance before that happens. So if you hear something going on in the school, make sure you go into immediate lockdown. Your job is not to be the hero. We've got SROs, we've got law enforcement people, we will do that. And I know that some situations may put you in that, but your job is to lock your kids down and protect the kids. Your job is to get them to safety. Your job is to make sure, when I was over transportation, I talked to bus drivers, and I said, if you know that you've got mad parents down there that's want to have conflict, don't stop. Keep driving. Well, they may get mad because I didn't pick up the kid. They're already ticked. Don't worry about it. You're not going to make them any more mad by just keep on driving, and you avoid that, and you protect every child in there because and that's part of the flight thing. So we just keep going and we don't do that. But, so understand when we do that. So don't try to be the immediate hero. Make sure that you realize that our job is to protect the kids. My job is to protect the kids, and in working with it, you saw a lot of red flags. I didn't go through some of these things we go through, but I'll get this from Homeland Security and we'll send out. These are the things that we're going to be looking at with the threat assessment. If you start seeing 2 or 3 or 4 of these red flags in coworkers, you start seeing 2 or 3 or 4 of these red flags in your students, those students need to be brought to the attention of the principal and other people in the school, so that we can be proactive, and it may be nothing, but we need to check and make sure that we have addressed that. The worst thing in the world is to say, well, I thought something was going to happen, but I didn't think it really would. I didn't want to get involved. Well, let's get involved, folks, because it deals with keeping our children safe, it keeps our coworkers safe, and doing that. Talked about the hidden weapons. He didn't show up, something he would show the video, and I've gone to a lot of these things over the years. You know the video where the guy comes in and he's got 40 guns and weapons and knives and he's got them all hidden. You can't see any of them when he walks in. He pulls shotguns out of his tent legs and he does all this kind of stuff. So weapons can be hidden. So, he talked a little bit about, and this is one thing that we talked about over, if an active shooter situation were to occur in your building, when law enforcement comes in, they're going to be taking out anybody that's got a weapon in their hand. You do not want to be that person. You do not want to be that person. And they're going to come through that door. Our SRO's protocol has changed since Columbine, we know that. And SWAT teams, they're called, but by the time the SWAT team gets there, everything is open. Everything is open, folks. And in dealing with it, you want to understand that when the SROs go to it, literally, and I say they put blinders on. They walk down through there, and what I'm talking about is true. They'll step over kids, they'll step over staff, they'll step over, because they've got to neutralize, and that's a big term, they got to neutralize the attacker. So in dealing with it, just understand, you do not want to be standing there with some kind of weapon being the hero. They don't know whether you're the attacker, they don't know. So understand, we don't do that. So we do have clear cameras. We've got the Vigilance system, and we do replace, and we've replaced 2 or 3 cameras this summer. So if the camera goes out, we do that. We just had a situation at Claxton, many of you heard it on TV. We found out about it 10 o'clock, by 10 o'clock the next morning, the people were already arrested because we had them on camera. And in dealing with it, we are moving forward with prosecuting these folks that came in and stole all the stuff at Claxton Elementary School. We had another situation that happened at a school where some of our workers in their job backed over a wall, and they drove off real quickly. So hopefully they didn't get caught, or our cameras caught them. And they're in the process of paying for it and replacing our cameras work. And we can identify your faces on it. Okay? we can identify the faces on it, and we can do that. Those have gone in over the last 3 or 4 years, and we do have a good system, but cameras do not protect a person. It just allows us to be able to do, so don't get a false sense of security just because it just, as Shane said, it's just a tool. It's a good tool, it's a very expensive tool, and it's one that we use every day, but it's just a tool. Everything that we've done is just a tool that goes through the total process. We are going to be, I've got plans out the wazoo. We've got volumes of plans. That's why we're getting down to these little flip charts. Because notebooks really don't do you a whole lot of good. We need to get it down to step-by-step, short procedures. After writing all this stuff, it becomes very clear. That's what we need to do, make it simple. Okay. I think I've said everything I want to. But you're not going to have an active shooter drill happen in your school in the middle of the day with kids in there that you don't know what's happening. Fair? Because, and if you ever go through one of these things, and I've gone through them, if you ever go through one of these things, you know what's happening. Your blood pressure is going to raise, you're going, and when police comes in, don't get real timid in the fact that their language may not be the cleanest in the world. I can tell you that. They're very explicit in what they say, and they don't say please. And she said, just do what they say. Just do what they say, and they won't say sir or ma'am. They're not nice like the school teachers when it comes into these roles. So it's something that we prepare for, we plan for, and we pray. We ask God every day not that it doesn't happen. That it doesn't happen. I know this gentleman prays that prayer every day. I pray that prayer every day. And in dealing with it, we hope that and we pray that it never happens. But we want to be prepared. We want to be prepared. Are there any questions about this? I know this stuff isn't fun. I've gone to the dorm presentations and all these. If you get a lot more explicit than what Shane gave you the PG version. Maybe the G version. I'm in the R and the other versions where that you see these things. And if you see the Columbine video where the suicides occur, and I've seen those, it gets pretty graphic. It gets pretty graphic, and you really learn to take this stuff seriously. One thing that he said, I hope you realize, there is no profile that we can look at. No particular gender, although most of the time the shooter situations are male. No racial situation. It can happen regardless of what the ethnicity is. But these things are things that can happen. And if you think there's a problem, if your gut tells you there's a problem, there probably is. Make us aware of it, and let us be proactive in dealing with that. It may be a staff person, it may be a student, it can be a parent that's coming in, it can be a volunteer that's coming in, it can be a bus driver, it can be Dr. Perry, or Tim 2.0, okay? But please, let's be proactive. Are there any questions on this? Anything that you want to ask him or anybody before we leave? The next session, yes.
Are there going to be Stop the Bleed trainings offered for all teachers?
We may do that. I'll work with your principals to do that. We work with all principals. All principals have gone through that. We've had, so there's multiple people in every school building that have gone through Stop the Bleed presentations. Each school has at least 2 backpacks, which each backpack has 8 tourniquets in it. One tourniquet, one of the backpacks is probably still complete. The other one I've talked to principals about maybe taking it apart and putting a tourniquet in different parts of the school. We're looking at the AED situations. All of our schools have at least one AED. Catherine really probably needs to be making this presentation. She's making this presentation, and they're dealing with it. Some of them have multiple because they're large campuses, and doing it, using those things, and they have worked in this system and making sure that we've got one child that's walking around today because of the AED, and because we had some staff people that were willing to use it. So I'm dealing with it, but the answer is I'll talk to your principal. We'll see if they want to do that. We can do these trainings, but it sometimes it gets down to time and cutting your time down, and do they want to use some of their staff at all the time or some of the things to do this? And I'll talk with Dr. Perry about seeing if we can do that too. Other questions? The Stop the Bleed training is excellent. It's excellent. But it does take, it's time consuming, it takes some time. Debbie Beans, yes, ma'am.
Hey, listen, before you leave, make sure you sign in. There's about 7 or 8 clipboards around here to sign in. The other thing is, when the last session is over, we will be giving out t-shirts. So as you know, we got the new t-shirt this year. Can you believe it's green? I mean, you know, but the other thing is what Mr. Fogarty was talking about. We had an active threat at Claxton Elementary School this year. We had to evacuate the whole school up to a church. They did a fantastic job because they were trained. Clinton Middle School, we had a gas leak. It wasn't in our school. We had some people putting in new poles across the street. Had to be evacuated. They did a great job on that. Had a fire at Anderson County High School. A real fire in a classroom. They did a great job. It was but there's some things that we learned through that. They went, and Mr. Fogarty, he had some sessions after that, some debriefing. We got better on those things. But it's because we train, and I think that's the thing that is most important. We want to make sure we're ready for that worst scenario, and we pray it never happens. Okay? And I think that's what we've got to do, and that's a good job on. Okay? Any other questions? Any other questions? Hey, another thing is, we had 72 people this year that did not miss a day of school. I'll not be sending out everybody's name. I'm not going to go through all of them right now. But anyway, there's 3 things that happen that, as you know, if you don't miss in a semester, you get what? $50. So that person got $50 first semester, they got $50 second semester. We're going to draw 12 names out of those 70, and we're going to give them $200, okay? Plus, every person that did not miss a day this year, we are going to order jackets for you. So these are the jackets. As you know, they're green. My wife asked me this morning, it was so funny, she said, does everybody know green's your favorite color? I said, I don't know, you think so? But anyway, it's got the logo on it. We will be sending out emails to get your size on those things. But I am so excited about that. Another thing, just to let you know, you'll be going through a class today. One of the things that we do every year, we say what's going well, what needs to be tweaked, and what's off the rail. And every year, there's one thing that was on that was off the rail, was our substitutes. We don't have enough substitutes, or they don't want to work on Friday. We can't have our good substitutes working 10 days a month. So now we're working with ESS, so we will be having a group that helps us with our sub, and I think you're going to find that's going to be fantastic, okay? Thank you all. You've got to go to your next session. Make sure you sign that sheet. Make sure you get your